morning, good morning, Atlanta. Good morning, Southeast, East Coast, West Coast, wherever you are. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for opening your calendar, moving things around, having conversations with your family. Whatever you're doing and whatever you didn't do to get here, we appreciate it profoundly. It is not a small thing that you're here. It is not a small thing that you woke up this morning. So thank you for choosing us for the opportunity of creating a new context, maybe a different perspective to empower you in making decisions for your life. Today, we have a phenomenal human being with a phenomenal story and a phenomenal conversation. And I can't wait to get us started. Now, she did say that for today's conversation, you want to go ahead and grab something to take notes with. We're going to be making this a little bit interactive. So as I am introducing Kris and getting us all ready, grab something to write with. This will be a phenomenal conversation today. Now, let's get us all ready for today's conversation. So Keith, I have a question for you.
Ask away.
2 questions. What time is it and where are you?
Well, concerning time, the time is now. And concerning where am I am where I am supposed to be and where I want to be.
Good morning, Sarah. 2 questions for you. How are you and who are you going to hug today?
You know what? I'm already 3 down on the hugs. My big old dog, my little dog, and my beautiful wife. And I am, as I say I am, Gio, phenomenal, outstanding, beyond exceedingly abundantly happy. That's how I am.
I love that. I love that. And then Mark, last question for you, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Mark.
Yes.
What are you grateful for today?
What am I grateful for today? I am grateful for the Daily Huddle and all the great speakers that have come across here. I have gained I can't even say it. I'm so excited. A vast, what's bigger than vast?
I don't know. Humongous, a Milky Way.
Vast, humongous knowledge base that I've gained here. I'm so thankful. Thank you.
Gargantuan, Mark. Gargantuan.
Thank you, Michelle. Where you been, Michelle? Thank you. Gargantuan.
My computer shut down. It was not happy with me.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Michelle, Pascal. Good morning. All right. So today here's what today's conversation is going to be about, and then I'm going to introduce Kris in just a second. Today's conversation is about how do you live on your purpose regardless of your role or career? How do you live on your purpose regardless of your role and career? Now, I'm going to say just a little bit about Kris. Most of you know Kris, but I want to give a sense for those of you who are maybe hearing Kris for the first time. Kris Castor describes herself as a faithful warrior, an inspiring visionary, and a bold change agent after 50 plus years of walking with the Lord through both joyful and extremely difficult seasons of her life. Kris works with Christian business owners and leaders to hear the Lord's voice more clearly so that they can receive breakthroughs and strategies that build bridges towards her goals and heart's desires. She has the unique ability of making the change process an adventure and loves partnering with her clients each step of the way. If you need to contact Kris, her contact information is on our Facebook feed. Kris, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. I'm excited. So today's going to be a little different than my previous presentations. We're going to do an exercise, but I want to set this up because the question today is, how do you live on your purpose rather than your role and career? I think most people go through this mental process in their life that they always feel only purposeful when they're doing like a job or the right career or something. And I'm here to tell you that your purpose is who you are, not what you do. who you are, not what you do, which means that you can live on your purpose when you're sitting on a beach. You can live on your purpose when you're at your job. You can live on your purpose when you're talking to your kids or your friends. You can live on your purpose when you're walking down a road or when you're in your car. Your purpose is simply the unique thing that you bring to the world. And for me, I've always known what my purpose was, but there was a point in time that I didn't have words for it. So I didn't really recognize that I was living on it. And when I became a coach, I went through this really neat training process to help define purpose so that somebody actually knows what it is to be able to tangibly walk it out. And so I have this life purpose meeting that I do with people. And what I'm going to do is just kind of pull from that for this conversation. So here's the interactive piece. Grab a pen and a piece of paper, and here's what I want you to do. Thank you, Robin. Good show and tell. So I want you to think of a time in your life where you felt very fulfilled and satisfied. It can be any time at all. It can be when you were a child. It can be yesterday. It can be this morning. It can be a fleeting moment or an extended period of time. And it doesn't have to be the perfect time. It just has to be a time where you felt completely, overflowingly filled and satisfied. Now, take a second and bullet point maybe a couple of things, like one or two things that come to mind. All right, now, as you're looking at one of those things, pick the one that you really know is the time that you felt fulfilled and satisfied. Think about what it was about that time that was truly important to you. And just bullet point what about that was important. And then after you do that, think about why it was valuable to you. What about it was valuable to you? And bullet point that. And obviously, if I was doing this in a client session, I'd be going much slower and much more detail, but we don't have time for that. So I'm going to push you along. So as you're looking at your bullet points, there are words in those bullet points that are keys to your purpose. And what I generally do with my clients is we talk about the words and themes. And I usually do this process 3 or 4 times. I ask them for a story about when they felt fulfilled and satisfied. As they're telling a story, I write down kind of what they're saying in bullet point form. And then we decide what parts of the story have the words that are key, that kind of look at their purpose, that have key elements of their purpose. And then at the end of all of this, we kind of string together a sentence that represents what your purpose statement is. And it's the coolest thing. And so when I did this for myself, and I've done this a couple of times, and like I said, my purpose has remained the same, but some of the words and some of the elements of it have shifted. But the last time I did it for fun was a couple of weeks ago. And this is my purpose today, to inspire and encourage myself and others to courageously step into their next level of growth with an adventure mindset and support them to set and achieve bold growth goals. That's my purpose. I don't have to have a job to live out that purpose. I can live out that purpose every day because I'm constantly inspiring and encouraging myself to grow. When I'm around other people and I see a need or somebody's hurting or somebody's in a difficult place, I can walk alongside them to inspire and encourage them to courageously step into whatever growth they need to go through next to get past whatever situation there is, to help them have an adventure mindset as they're going through that process. So it's not a horrible, weighty experience, but rather a surrendered experience of learning. And the bold growth goals piece is helping people never settle for a minimum, but rather getting them to realize that when they reach really far for their goals, they'll achieve and attain way more than they ever thought possible. And so that is just a quick example of how I live on my purpose every day, regardless of my role or career. So I want to stop and just ask you guys that did the exercise, what words came to mind as I had you walk through that process?
For me, it was service and change.
Okay.
Everything that I do, or that it looks like everything I've done in the recent years, was involved making changes, encouraging change, and being of service or being of value.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, being of value, Keith, I can really connect with that. When I did a project and I saw change as a result of that project, or I've helped one of my clients to have an aha moment, bringing value. I think that really sums it up for me too.
Okay. Anybody else? Come on, Robin, I know you got something.
Now I got to stuff that piece of watermelon in my face.
You got caught eating, Robin.
The first thing you said was write down a couple times when we felt the most fulfilled, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most purposeful. And then pick the one and say why that one made you feel the way you did. And then what was it about that one? And I really sometimes hesitate with this. And I actually talked about it yesterday. Michelle was at an in-person meeting I was in. And sometimes I struggle with being very forthright about it. But I'm learning not to be more and more. And I'd really, the words, okay, God, existence, and eternal investment. Those were the things, the words, if I was to pick them out. That's when I'm absolutely feeling the most purposeful and having the most use. And I know it almost seems cliche-ish. I'm at that point in my life where the things that I own have owned me for so long that I don't want to have that be a situation anymore. I want to have a much bigger reason. And when you said when was the time, right now, the last 5 to 7 years of this understanding who I am and why I am who I am and getting where I am has been the most satisfying and purposeful time in my life. My children are in their teens and getting out of their teens and growing up and being a leader for them and helping them and guiding them. I finished my day, went to a meeting last night until 9 o'clock, and then went to my son's new house that doesn't need to be painted inside, but he doesn't like the color. He just bought a brand new house. He closed yesterday. And until 10:30 last night, I was painting. And I felt more purposeful doing that and so satisfied doing that, even though it doesn't need to be done. I'm like, you crazy kid, why are you putting all this extra work on yourself? But I'm a guy that cuts in real good with the paintbrush. I can cut that edging real good. And so that's what I did. And I had a great time. And I felt super satisfied when I left his house last night. I served him. I helped him. I did something to show him leadership and show him love. And that makes me deeply fulfilled.
And all of those words would be in your purpose statement in some way, shape, or form. Serving others, to generate love, or to feel love, or something. We'd play with it. That's great. So who else wants to share a couple other words? I know Gio, we have about 5 minutes left or so?
All
Well,
right.
since you're making this interactive already, we have all the way until 9:30.
Okay, got it. Who else?
Come on, people. Step up. Be transparent. Let's go.
Well, I'll tell you what I was looking at. I really loved the exercise, by the way. And I was looking at those moments where I was mostly fulfilled. It really was about, there were two aspects. When I was in a room transforming the narrative that I was holding on to, that I didn't know I was holding on to, that was keeping me from moving forward. And that, for me, that was a transformational experience, transforming a narrative that I didn't know I was holding on to. Like I really didn't know. And that was a moment of clarity that gave me a new life. And so that being in that place and creating those conversations are my life's purpose. And then eventually training myself to do that and be someone who generates the conversations and create the space for other people to see that themselves. It's the most transformational, for me, most fulfilling moments. And what you're saying, what you're pointing to, right? It was the missing, for a long time, was the biggest piece for me to live a fulfilled life. I got my purpose way before I was doing it, way before I was making a living around this. But I felt unfulfilled because I wasn't doing it. And then in a conversation like this one, someone like yourself told me that to get closer to my purpose, to living a fulfilled life, was to do it while I was doing whatever I was doing. And at the time, I was working for the bank. And I found living and doing my purpose with each of the clients at the bank. And I went from, oh, I hate this job, to I love this job. I get to live my purpose every single day with my clients, with, just everyone I was connecting to. And so when you say your purpose is who you are or where you're coming from, not what you do, right? And it just reminded me of that moment of my life when a new world was available for me.
Yes, that's so awesome. And that's why it's so important to have somebody help you define it, because it becomes like a true north for you. If you make all your decisions based on where am I going to be able to be and live on my purpose, you're always going to be walking in a peaceful place. Now, again, I've said every time I've come here that trials and tribulations don't stop just because you're in a good place. It's how you walk through those trials that makes all the difference. And when you know that you know that you know what your purpose is, and you know that you know that you know where you get your satisfaction and fulfillment from, that has nothing to do with outside stuff. It has everything, and it can only be about what's within you. You can have the best life ever. And for example, with my purpose statement, if I ever have to make like a really serious decision, I make it aligning with that, because it doesn't matter what that decision is. If it aligns with who I am, then even if it's hard, even if there's going to be difficulty and pain in the process, I'm going to be okay, because my purpose and the fulfilling and satisfying things about me that I love is going to shine through the darkness of whatever I might be walking through. So
Hey, this is CC. I'm on the line. When you finish, can I share?
please, actually go ahead and share right now. That'd be great, Cece.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I got in a few minutes late, but I heard about the purpose, and I realized that my purpose is to give, one of my purposes, and to be of aid to somebody who needs it, not to enable them, and to serve. And you know, I've had some unfortunate things to happen, but I look at it as a blessing. Every time I've gone to the doctor, I had a botched up surgery, so I haven't been able to walk on my left foot. And each place I bring this pound cake, and I'm able to share love. I'm able to share that through this, I'm going to be okay. And the people who are also got problems, we're all in the waiting room together. And since we're together, we're able to share what we learn, the blessing of how we're going to get out of this with God's help, only with God, and to be of service to somebody. And so I found, going to all these doctors, I met some really wonderful people, including the staff and the people who are in the waiting rooms waiting.
Yep.
And I can say that has been one of the greatest things that has ever happened to me, is to be of aid to someone else and to be of service and to give. And with that, thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Cece. So in the chat, Michelle wrote, as an Army wife, we're called that blooming where you're planted. That's so good, Michelle. And then you also said that it sounds like I'm speaking about core values. I'm actually not, because your purpose is what you bring to the world, basically to make it a better place. Your values and core values are what you live by in order to do that. And that's how I distinguish it. Like, for example, I have 8 core values: genuinely be me, love well, an adventure mindset, passionate work, authentic relationships, a faith-filled lifestyle, inner peace and joy, and adopt Jesus's eyes and attitude. All of those things allow me to be in the best possible mental place, spiritual place, emotional place, in order to inspire, encourage myself and others to courageously step into their next level of growth with an adventure mindset and support them to set and achieve bold growth goals. Your core values position you to live on your purpose is the way I approach it. So making sure that you live, that you have core values that you align with, allows you to birth your purpose wherever you are.
So great. So great, Kris. I had this conversation. It's like one that, for me, for many years, it was over my head. Like, whoo, purpose. I can't even hear purpose. I just want to go pay my bills, like, purpose, give me a job, right? Or purpose, let's go find a problem and solve it. But purpose, like, what am I here alive for? It was, for many years, was this just really abstract conversation, kind of a cool thing to talk about, but it wasn't useful with my everyday life. And then this idea that, wait, I can't possibly be here by chance. It just can't just be by chance. All of this that I am, all those fears and all of the complexities of being alive, right? Fears, wanting, desires, longing, they've got to have some kind of purpose, right? And so I started digging in a little more, and then I kind of see it this way. You know, when people say, do you think there is a unique purpose for everybody? You know, it's 7 billion people and more, like everybody.
Yes.
And I kind of like discover it this way. Well, it's like falling in love. 7 billion people have a chance to fall in love with anyone, with somebody. It's not something unique of one person. Purpose is, for me, the same way, the same access. It's an inquiry into something more than myself, and everyone has their unique experience with purpose. And that's kind of like what's showing up for me right now, Kris, in this conversation.
Yeah, and the neat thing about what you're saying is your purpose, in my opinion, God places us all on the earth with little divine assignments all the time around us, right? And it means that other people are going to resonate with me versus somebody else. Other people are going to resonate with somebody else versus me. And if we all are living on our purpose each and every day, then we have the amazing opportunity to impact the world around us in unique ways. Because as we interact and talk to people and live out our purpose and kind of be that place of support, help, inspiration in our own unique way by living out our purpose, the people around us are going to be better. And I use kind of a metaphor of buckets. Our bucket is in the middle, like a bullseye. And when we're living out our purpose and we're overflowing with our purpose, it overflows into the next bucket, which is the people around us, our sphere of influence. And as the sphere of influence overflows because we're living on our purpose, it overflows into the world around them. So by living on our unique purpose, we get to affect the world purpose by purpose by purpose, just because we're showing up, acknowledging and purposely doing what we were created and uniquely designed to do.
That was beautiful, by the way. That was awesome, Kris. I really saw the picture of it all and a representation of it in my life. And so clearly, my access to my purpose was seeing somebody else living their purpose and acting on it and making a living on it and living with all the issues and all the problems and all the challenges that life brings to all of us, living with them from a different place, with a different kind of state of mind and a different place to come from to deal with the challenges in life. And in watching those people, I found my purpose. It started to make sense. So that was so great, so great.
Well, and Robin has a note in the chat that says, Michelle said something about ripples, are they negative or positive? And that's an interesting concept, because if you are negatively affecting the world, your negative ripples are going to go over. And you don't want that, because then you're just creating chaos where you could create peace.
I told my children when they were very young, we had a pool in our yard, and when you would touch the water at the steps and you could see the ripples go out, even back then I was much younger, and I would tell them that's how you affect the world. And that whole ripple as it goes out, it affects more and more people. Do you want it to be positive or negative? Right. And believe me, it's tough when they get to that 15, 16, 17-year-old age to really help them focus on the fact that you want to be a positive ripple. You want to have a positive influence on the people around you. I'm struggling with a 17-year-old right now, and he doesn't even realize how he'll switch from, just being the greatest guy in the world with the most positive input and the positive outlook to, wow, that was really rude. And I have to remember he doesn't understand this yet. He's still growing into it and learning it. And I just need to be the example of it. So even when I try sometimes to be that positive example, it still gets a negative reaction because he's 17. I mean, it's just what the world has told him. So we continue to push forward with the positive ripples and hope that those overrun those negative ripples. And he finally gets it. And he will. I mean, all my boys have. They get it. And then they say, oh, okay, I want to be a positive influence. It feels so much better to be a positive influence than a negative influence.
Love it. Thank you, Robin.
Oh.
Thank you for bringing family to this conversation. So Michelle, you'll have your comment, Kris, then your last comment, and then we wrap up. Go ahead, Michelle.
So I believe, Kris, this has a lot to do with suicide awareness and helping those who are in crisis.
Yes.
Because part of their belief is that they do not have a purpose, to bring value to their community, to their people, and helping them identify and understand, even if they don't know what it is, that there is a purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michelle.
Well, and then I can just tag and wrap up on that. Everyone lives on their purpose from the moment they are born. Like seriously, now a baby may not be able to express their purpose, but it's in them, because I believe that we're all divinely created uniquely. We're just all, that's my belief. But as you grow up and you get a sense of what it is, that's when, to Michelle's point, you can focus and see the value of who you are through it. You're valuable anyway, but being able to have like a sentence to be able to stand on and showcase that. And so for anybody that's listening, if you're interested in developing a life purpose statement, contact me. I'd be happy to help you with that.
Thank you, Kris. Thank you. I'm just going to tag on that. I know, I'm going to be bold on this, that everyone is divinely created. You just look at any baby, and that creature is beautiful, no matter whose it is. Their fingers, their everything, their eyes, their eyelashes, each hair, if they have, every baby is so divinely created. Every single person listening to this call, you are divinely created. And then there's language, and there's another world there. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for stopping by, making the Daily Huddle a place to create perspective and to help you make better decisions, make better choices, and have a better life. Kris, thank you for this amazing conversation. It was insightful. It was powerful. I'm going to be with it for the rest of the day. And for those of you that don't know, there are 7 things to have an amazing quality of life, to live on purpose, to have great skin, to have a sexy body, look like Robin and Michelle. And these things are love always, love those who you have an opinion about, love those who you disagree, laugh out loud, make your stomach hurt while you're laughing, stress less. It's only one life, might as well stress less. Don't worry, you're not gonna make it anyway. Stress less, eat more plant-based, hug the trees, eat the trees. More plant-based, and then give more, keep giving, let energy flow through you, sleep more, and then finally move every day, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and dance while you're doing it. Nobody cares anyway. Dance and move. See you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. for a phenomenal conversation. Thank you, Kris. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.